in a quiet suburban neighborhood where the lawns were trimmed to perfection and every mailbox stood uniform. Alex was the odd one, out a free-spirited young professional. Alex had recently inherited a plot of land from his late uncle. Unlike the manicured perfection of the cul-de-sac, Alex's yard was a blooming wildflower garden, a deliberate choice to attract bees and butterflies. His laid-back attitude clashed starkly with the neighborhood's obsession with order, a clash that was personified in his new neighbor, Karen. Karen was the self-appointed enforcer of all things proper, with her clipboard in hand and a perpetual look of disapproval. She took it upon herself to ensure the neighborhood adhered to her vision of perfection. From the moment Alex moved in, Karen seemed to have her sights set on him first. It was the wildflower she declared of weed infestation, then the color of his mailbox, which she deemed an eyesore. It was as though Alex's very existence offended her. Help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support means the world. Hit that subscribe button. Now the final straw came one sunny morning, when Alex was sipping coffee on his porch, enjoying the chirping birds. A police car pulled up, and an officer approached him cautiously. Confused, Alex greeted him. "What's going on, officer?" The officer hesitated before replying. "We received a call about a hazardous structure in your yard." Alex blinked, then looked at his quaint little garden shed. That's when it hit him. Karen had called 911 on him as the officer inspected the so-called hazard. Karen appeared smug and self-righteous. "I told you, officer. This landowner refuses to comply with neighborhood standards. His shed is a safety concern." Alex couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity, but he realized this was only the beginning. Karen wasn't just a nosy neighbor. She was on a mission to make his life miserable. Karen's campaign against Alex started small, but it didn't take long for her antics to escalate. It began with notes taped to his door, handwritten warnings about his yard being an eyesore and how it was lowering values. At first, Alex found the notes amusing, even going so far as to pin them on his fridge like badges of honor. But Karen wasn't content with passive aggression. She needed action. The first major escalation came when Alex hosted a small barbecue for a few friends. It was a casual affair, grilled burgers, soft music, and some laughter. But just as the burgers were coming off the grill, a police car pulled into the driveway, lights flashing. Alex, perplexed, approached the officer. "We got noise complaint." The officer explained Karen was already waiting on the sidewalk, arms crossed and lips pursed. "They've been blasting music and disturbing the peace for hours," she exclaimed, though the barely audible background music told a different story. The officer, visibly irritated, quickly dismissed the complaint and left, but Karen's smug expression lingered. Her behavior became more ridiculous. With each passing day, she filed a complaint with the city, claiming Alex's wildflower garden was a breeding ground for pests, and demanded it be removed. A city inspector was sent out, only to determine that Alex's garden was fully compliant and even environmentally beneficial. Furious at being thwarted, Karen began scrutinizing every inch of Alex's property one morning. Alex woke up to find her standing on the sidewalk with a tape measure, documenting the height of his grass. Then came the Halloween decorations. Alex, a fan of the spooky season, had gone all out with pumpkins, skeletons, and even a small fog machine. The neighborhood kids loved it, but Karen was livid. She marched over, pointing at his decorations like they were a crime scene. "These pumpkins are not regulation size, and that fog machine is a fire hazard," she declared, snapping pictures with her phone. When Alex refused to take them down, she called 911 again. The absurdity of her actions began to attract the attention of other neighbors. Karen's antics weren't limited to Alex. She'd previously tried to impose her rules on others as well, but Alex, being the new guy, had become her primary target. The calls to the police, the city complaints, and the constant harassment started to take a toll. Alex was no longer amused. He was determined to fight back. What Karen didn't realize was that her obsessive need for control was about to backfire spectacularly. At first, Alex tried to take the high road. He ignored Karen's increasingly absurd complaints and focused on enjoying his new home. But when she called 911 for the third time in a month, this time claiming his outdoor string lights were blinding her at night, he realized he couldn't just let her antics slide anymore. Karen wasn't just annoying, she was actively trying to make his life miserable, and it was time to push back. Alex's retaliation began with small acts of humor designed to highlight the absurdity of Karen's behavior.